Tokyo, the beating heart of modern Japanese society and culture, is attracting young people from throughout Japan, seeking an interesting modern lifestyle, work, and the adrenaline flowing in the streets. A 5 hours fast train ride southwest brings you to a completely different world. Here, hidden in the mountains along the Maruyama River, lies Toyooka, a small city surrounded by villages, rice paddies, and forests. Caution, it is only a false pastoral picture. Once you step out of the train station and into the main street, you might also be infected with Stork Madness. In every direction you look, you might notice its symptoms. Show windows, sidewalks, bread, mineral water, sake, the City Hall building, the municipality's cars, all are marked with storks. The mayor himself has been leading the obsession for several years.
And stork.
The oriental white stork with its black beak and light blue eyes was once widespread throughout Japan and lived happily in the small traditional rice paddies. The overuse of poisonous pesticides and the modernization in rice cultivation methods in the 1950s onwards caused the decline in the stork's food sources. Many species of invertebrates, amphibians, reptiles, and fish became extinct, and the remaining available food sources were contaminated with poison.
コウノトリがなぜ絶滅したかと言いますと、昭和34、5年頃は米は増産することが目的であった稲の病気のその防除のために有機水銀剤の防除。
The stork population declined rapidly until, in 1971, the last wild stork in the Toyooka area died, its death marking the extinction of the storks throughout Japan. Already in 1965, a breeding center for the storks had been established based on storks brought in from neighboring countries and from the occasionally wounded or poisoned migrating storks. However, it was evident that due to environmental conditions, releasing storks back into nature could not even be considered. The breeding center, which with the years grew and extended rapidly up to 20 hectares, included breeding and rehabilitation cages. When the center became too small, a new, much larger and modern center was added, extending over 160 hectares, controlled by a sophisticated system which enabled a real-time survey of each stork. The resident storks are treated with the best of food and living conditions. Traditional-looking rice terraces and paddies were added to the landscape in the hopes that one day, if possible, the storks would be returned to nature. Every year, about $5 million are invested in the stork project. However, in spite of the encouraging breeding success of the center, many doubted that there would be any possibility of releasing the storks back into nature. The environment was still very poisonous and too unhealthy for them. The solution came from a totally unexpected direction. Autumn 2004. A typhoon, one of the strongest ever, hit the area, bringing torrents of rain. The Maruyama River overflowed, flooding the rice paddies, the streets and houses, forcing many people to evacuate. But in addition to destruction, the typhoon brought Toyooka seeds of hope as well. Yuka Okada was about 10 years old during the typhoon. She had realized the link between the environmental destruction by people and the destruction outside. Intuitively, she understood the need to return to sustainable and organic farming that might one day bring the storks back to the paddy fields.
まず一番印象に残っているのは、コウノトリ育む農法のお米を豊岡市の学校給食に使ってもらうように市長さんにお願いに行ったことで。
After the meeting with children from the Nitta Elementary School, I persuaded people to change people's awareness and make the environment better for storks and humans. Our slogan is, a good environment for storks must be good for humans. Releasing storks brought the farmers increased income. Now they have pride in their job because they are doing good job for good future.
でここで実際に野生のコウノトリが帰ってきましたですからそれをなんとか絶滅させないようにこれからずっとここに住み着いてくれるように私たちは願っておるわけです。冬季淡水をするための前作業として米ぬかを散布してます。
コウノトリが子供の頃を思い出します。
Oka Osamu is one of the farmers who became infected with stork madness and changed his ways. Every autumn, after the rice harvest ends, he spreads rice bran and floods his paddies. This enriches the ecosystem of the paddies, attracts many species of invertebrates, amphibians, waterfowl, and frogs, which protect the yields from pests. Nature responded rapidly, and soon after applying the new management, biodiversity increased in the rivers and in the forests around the city. In September 2005, when it seemed that there was plenty of natural and poison-free food available for the storks, the moment of release arrived. Princess Kiko and Prince Akishinomiya released the first stork back into the wild in the presence of an army of excited photographers and locals. The years are passing by. The storks now nest in the spring on special pillars installed for them in the valley. They wander in the rice paddies with their chicks, enjoying the abundant food in the riverbanks and the islands, which were made especially for them, or walk on the snow-covered paddies in the winter. The Stork Madness, which started with the dream of a girl, within a few years had infected all the citizens of Toyooka and its surroundings. Many volunteers are busy restoring the natural environment to enrich the food sources for the storks. More and more rice is now being cultivated using organic methods free of poisons. A large visitor center was built next to the breeding cages where the whole process is presented to the public. And in another part of the valley, among the rice paddies, an observation center was built, allowing locals and enthusiastic tourists to watch the beauty of the storks in nature.
Children have returned to the paddy fields for planting and reaping rice, surveying living creatures in the paddy fields, and learning the relationship between nature and humans.
Visitors from all over Japan arrive to enjoy the miracle of the return of the storks. The local economy is flourishing. A large-scale industry of souvenirs, hotels, restaurants, and arts and crafts has developed thanks to Stork Madness. This awakening is enabling young people to remain and live in Toyooka instead of moving to Tokyo. Young couples are now seeking to get married at the Stork Center with the blessing of the local children and a huge stork mascot, a symbol of fertility and revival. A symbol of an environmental revolution and the madness which infected the city thanks to the dream of a girl.
す。